So I was having this conversation with a dad that I work with, and he's a client of mine, and just in general, really good guy, like really dedicated to grow and change. And we were having this conversation actually earlier today, and we were talking about the pain of not changing and becoming like sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know when you want something to change in your life and it's just been going on and on of not changing. And we were talking about this. And it'll get to this very important point that I want to share, but I want to give some context to it. So it's like the people I hang out with and people who you need to be watching this video, on some level you have goals. Like you have stuff you want to have happen. It could be more money. It could be more freedom, more better habits, better relationship, whatever. There's some vision you have of what you want. But then the day to day and the mundane drudgery of your life, it's like it will just wear on you. And then either you will change by being sick and tired of sick and tired. And at some point you'll get so pissed that eventually you change. And sometimes it lasts. A lot of times you actually loop back. So it's a very outdated, old way of attempting change, right? And this is what I was talking to him about this morning when we were looking at it. He's like, man, I see there's such a better way to change. It's with real education. Real education is how you can change. For example, I could go try and figure out, physics. I could go try and do experiments to understand how physics works in the world. And it would be extremely painful and it would take a long time and I would probably just give up after 2 weeks. Or I could just educate myself through seeing what else is out there and what works, and then I can get that into my mind. So now I act differently. Where real education is behavior change. You act differently. So it's shifting ourselves from the old model, which is growing through just pain and drudgery and getting pissed, and then you're sick and tired, to then hopefully change. Or you can actually just get smarter. You can just educate yourself. That idea of no pain, no gain is a myth. Yes, a lot of times there is pain to gain. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to say, oh, you can just freaking grow without any sense of pain or discomfort. It's not true. But I'm saying the old dumb model of trying to just slug it out and hit your head against the wall is unnecessary. Because there are ways where you can actually systematically, through a specific learning process, let go of the ineffective thinking, understand the new things, build your understanding of the world, so then when you show up in a new situation, you do things differently. That's literally what learning is. But the thing is, we went through school for 12 years, and we were taught a very outdated way, and we were actually just taught to the conscious mind, so the stuff didn't really seep in. That's why you don't remember 95% of what you learned in school, because it was you're just memorizing stats and information, and memorization, most of it fades away. Versus the thing that's actually imprinted and you actually understand it and you use it and it's part of you, now it's there. Here's the main point I wanted to share though, is I told him this. So I was like, because he's got 2 kids, he's got a wife. Because he's like, I'm so tired of that old way of learning and I still got some old habits with it, but he's been learning in the new way. And I was like, yeah, man, remember, you learning how you act. He's like, what are your kids picking up from that? And he's like, ooh, it's like that stings a little, because he realizes kids, especially kids under age 7, they're literally downloading and absorbing like a sponge from their environment. So if him as a parent, or me as a parent, I have 2 kids as well, if we're going through life slamming our head against the wall, trying this old way of learning that doesn't really work, guess what our kids are literally learning from us, right? Because our kids learn straight to the unconscious. They download until age, roughly between age 5 and age 7, they are just absorbing. They're absorbing all of our messed up patterns. Versus now he has these glimpses and he has the tools and he has this process of learning how to actually just learn and educate yourself so you don't have to go through all the pain, all the unnecessary pain. You can just go through the actual learning process and then change. Again, specifically, he's focused on building business, making more money. But in general, it still applies. I mean, even for how he sees himself, how he's learning about himself, how he relates to his wife. And it was such a cool moment because I was able to not hold back in that, because I know he's teachable, I know he's coachable, and I know we were chatting for a reason, right? He wants to level up. I'm always focused on leveling up too. And it was so cool. And so I'm sharing this video with you to encourage you to look at really two things. One is brutally be honest with yourself. Are you actually changing the behaviors you want to change? Or are you looping back and you keep doing the same old same? If you want to actually change those behaviors so you can handle making more money, having a better life, having more purpose, having better relationships, etc. If you want that, well, check out my other videos or just reach out to me. I can show you things that I've seen work extremely well over the past 5 years of doing this. And by the way, I went to school, I got my degree in psychology, I did all that. The stuff I found over the past 5 years is 1,000 times better than anything I learned in school. Like, this is the real cutting edge. That's why I make these videos on it, right? This is why I'm so outspoken about it. Put my reputation on the line for this. Like, I raised my kids with this. I have my wife, we're committed to this, is because stuff actually works if you actually want to change. Just change can be uncomfortable. And we're so used to seeing change as this painful thing versus something that can actually be kind of fun. And then there's really minimal pain to it. It's because you actually see the behavior change. Plus that it's motivating and it feels good, right? The other question that I want to ask is, especially for those of you who have kids, and for those of you, or if you want kids, what are you modeling to your kid for real? You don't have to put this in the comments here, but I'm saying actually for you to have that gut check in that moment where you go, dang, it's like your kid is picking up from you 24/7 on how you interact. Yes, if you're in front of them reacting versus if you're in the other room, sure, it's a little different, but kids pick up, man. They pick up on all of it. And so what are you modeling to your kid? If you're doubting yourself, like the stuff you think is secret in your mind, your little doubts, your fears, your concerns, your anger, your emotions that you have, the emotional turmoil you feel, the despair you feel at times, that is literally downloading into your kids. But it doesn't have to be that way. But the only way you can change that for real, where it's lasting, is a very specific process that takes time. It's not an overnight change. Anyone promising you an overnight change or a quick, 14-day challenge to change your life, it's not real. You can have a lot of progress in 14 days. It's pretty cool. Or even in a single day, even in a single moment. But just having a realization and a breakthrough is not actually a breakthrough. It's false. I know a lot of people who get a lot of realizations, but then they don't realize it, meaning actually have it become part of them so it becomes real in every situation, in every moment. So it's who they are. Like, my ability to just turn on the camera and share a story, I've developed this over time. And it's who I am. It's how I show up. It's what I care about. And it's just natural. And if, something crazy happened, someone walked in the door, right? The freaking bird flies into the window. And it's like, I'm not going to get distracted from it. I care. And this is just how I show up. It's not scripted. I'm not thinking. It's just from me. But I've developed that over time. And it's because that's real change. And I'm a living testament of it. So, if this resonates with you, reach out. Don't be shy. Just send me a message. Let's connect more, because can you see how the world will be a lot better when more people can change their behavior? For real. Again, not just the quick fix, not just the New Year's resolution, but a lasting, real, permanent change. That's what I'm here for.